This is the skyline of Kyiv at night. Then, the sky fills with streaking arcs of light, a sudden, large-scale barrage of missiles and drones descending on residential districts. Air defense systems activate, resulting in mid-air explosions that shower burning debris directly into the urban environment below. By daylight, the physical toll is clear. Entire sections of apartment blocks are sheared open. The verified death toll stands at 14, with dozens more injured. These strikes represent a transition into a period of extreme intensity, where the reach of the war extends well beyond the physical front lines. Public perception often frames this war around dug-in infantry lines and muddy trenches, locked in a slow-moving stalemate. This data visualization shows how the reality on the ground compares to the reality in the air. While the physical trench lines remain relatively consistent, the operational radius of modern aerial weapons expands outward, covering hundreds of kilometers. Because of this reach, civilians far behind the physical front lines are forced to adapt, turning subway stations and basements into subterranean shelters. Success for these urban centers is measured by the resilience of their infrastructure and the survival of their logistics networks under constant pressure. The active front line now sits directly above every major population center. Russian forces are launching large-scale overnight operations against Ukrainian cities with increasing frequency. Recovered debris, like the engine blocks seen here, points to reliance on Shahad-type loitering munitions. The targeting strategy serves a dual purpose. Striking residential zones wears down the civilian population, while concurrent strikes aim to sever essential supply chains. The impact on commercial logistics is severe. Massive warehouse complexes are routinely hit and burned down, destroying vital goods before they are distributed. State military briefings often classify these operations as precise strikes on military targets, but the verified damage on the ground routinely includes commercial storage and apartment blocks. For Ukraine, shooting down these munitions requires expending highly expensive and limited air defense interceptors. It is a deliberate volume tactic. By overwhelming the skies with cheap drones, the offensive forces a deadly mathematical equation of attrition upon the defenders. In response to these continuous urban bombardments, Ukraine has escalated its own operations. They are deploying strategic long-range drones, specifically engineered to bypass the immediate battlefields and reach key targets deep inside Russian territory. This map traces those counterstrikes, showing flight paths crossing the border and pushing hundreds of kilometers into the Russian interior. These operations focus on military and logistics infrastructure hundreds of kilometers behind the border, including the bases used to launch attacks on Ukrainian cities. The intent is to dismantle the incoming threat at its origin, hitting air bases and supply depots before the weapons can ever be launched. These strikes strip away the previous sense of security held by Russian military logistics hubs that operated well beyond traditional artillery range. This new capability means that critical infrastructure in the deep interior is now as vulnerable as the equipment at the front, forcing a constant defensive posture across the entire territory. As the physical geographic scope of the conflict widens, international concern is growing rapidly. Security councils and international bodies meet to debate the escalating violence, searching for formal resolutions, but they are encountering diplomatic paralysis. Existing peace frameworks are struggling to manage this specific brand of reciprocal, long-range drone warfare, where strikes occur autonomously across vast distances. With military capabilities moving faster than diplomatic negotiations, the conflict shows no immediate signs of ending. Beyond the geopolitics and the expanding flight paths, the reality returns to the ground. For millions of people living in densely packed cities, every night brings the unpredictable threat of aerial bombardment. The psychological and physical toll compounds with every siren. As both militaries push their technological reach, civilian casualties are steadily rising. This is the clearest metric of the escalation. Until a breakthrough occurs, the legacy of this long-range war will not be the ingenuity of the drones or the distances they travel. It will be the daily, devastating human cost.